Hey everybody, welcome to Radical Books and Activists. We're here for, hey, what can someone has Sue at 9 in the morning even though she's down on the weather? Byron Sigcho-Lopez and his humanitarian causes. So we're here at City Hall, and I am a terrible person because I can't remember your name, sweetie. But this beautiful woman who you're about to see as soon as I figure out how to flip the damn camera is going to be telling you what we're doing here. Or maybe I'm just going to flip the damn camera. See, this is why I shouldn't be doing this just on the fly. Oh, what the fuck? So, who are you, lady?
Hi, how are you?
We're good, a little shaky. But so what are we doing here today?
Bien, es muy importante ahora la defensa que va a hacer Byron en beneficio de toda la comunidad. No podemos seguir dejando que nuestros migrantes sean abusados de una manera injusta.
All right, so what she said very briefly is that we're here to support undocumented and immigrant people because they can't be treated in an inhumane way anymore. And so that's what this beautiful call. And you can see we got some amazing, make some noise, sisters and brothers, and say hi. These are the people who are going to be speaking. Byron said that they were freedom fighters. So we're going to hear from them in just a little bit. And interestingly enough, we've had two centers that have opened because of the connections that our city colleges of Chicago chancellor has to immigrants and whatnot. So Truman is now a center where they are, I don't even know what the conditions are like, but we've opened up another center because these undocumented people are being brought from Texas and Florida. And, we're a sanctuary city. So, of course, we're going to help people out. But so stay tuned because in a few minutes, Byron and others are going to speak. And so this amazing event. And thank you so much. I appreciate you. ¿Cómo te llamas, mijo? Verónica, muchas gracias. See, I told you she was a beautiful soul, huh? All right, so let's do this. Now let me figure out how to flip this damn camera. And then, not like that. Let me see. Damn, I made this flip it around. Gosh darn it, on the mobile. Sucks balls. Okay. Oh, hey, lady.
Will you take a picture of her t-shirt, front and back?
Yeah, hold up. Let me, I'm trying to, give me a moment, though. Hey, well, listen, hey, viewer. Nice to see you. Chingada madre, no puedo voltear la pinche cámara. Espérame, mija. Hey. A ver, mi amorcito, ¿cómo te llamas? ¿Sabes qué? Déjame tomar una foto. Josefa, ¿this is Josefa? With St. Albert's Church?
Yeah.
Hola, Josefa, mucho gusto. María Jesús a sus órdenes. Déjenle, voy a tomar una foto y luego seguimos. Y si me permite, señora, para platicar con usted un momentito, por favor.
Ella.
No, con usted, o los dos.
Yo no soy señora.
Oh, wow. A ver, amorcito. Mira, mi amor. Ay, qué chula. Ok, date la vuelta, cariño. Da la vuelta, cariño. Da la vuelta, chile. A ver, amorcito. Ay, qué chula. It says save the towers. Órale.
Yeah.
All right, brilliant. I'll be sure to send that to you.
Gracias.
No hay de qué. All right. Someone tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, Josefa and I, a few other people here are from the St. Adalbert's Spanish-Polish Rosary group. We're here, yeah, and so we've been praying the rosary in front of the church since it was closed, St. Adalbert's in Pilsen. And that's been 3.5 years. Every Friday through winter and spring and summer and fall, we've been there. So we're really asking for Cardinal Supich to sit with us, to discuss about the closure of the churches that he's doing, to repurpose them. And we're also asking him to come walk with us,
Right.
Don't turn a blind eye to his community. That's what he has been doing.
Oh, he's been doing it historically. And so was the church closed because of these consolidation moves that they've been doing for the last 5 years, right?
Yes, exactly. And also for profit.
Of course.
So right now, churches are profits to the Archdiocese of Chicago.
They're running like a business.
Exactly. And so we're asking them to stop, immediately cease from selling any more churches. Let's open it up. Let's repurpose them. Let's look at the vision. We also asked Cardinal Supich to really look at stuff and ask himself in these days when kids are on the streets, they have no place to go. They're killing one another.
Right.
The drugs, the poverty, the immigrants coming to town. I asked him, and we as a group asked him, what would Jesus do in these moments?
Amen, sister.
Thank you.
One thing that disgusts me, I'm a devout Roman Catholic. I'm a Sunday school. I'm not cursed like a sailor, but I'm a good heart person. I fight for people and all that. But one thing that upsets me is that what they've done with vouchers in this state And these vouchers that are going not only to charter schools but to private schools, to me, that's dehumanizing and criminal.
Yes.
It's stealing from the poor. I don't care what anybody says.
No.
And they need to be called out on this.
Absolutely.
Especially when our black and brown schools, especially in communities like Pilsen, have had their budgets slashed by this unconscionable mayor.
Right.
So I think, for me too, I'm a liberation theologist. I believe the gospel is meant to liberate people. I believe that Jesus believed in communalism. I don't give a damn what anybody says. Feed the hungry, house the homeless, free the prisoners. And what we're seeing here is a complete opposite of that gospel.
Yes.
So I'm glad I met you. We should hook up because I need to pray the rosary myself.
No. Right now it's profit. It's profit over people.
All the time, everywhere, all the time.
Profit over people of color.
Absolutely.
Closing
And
St.
women
Albert's
in
and
particular.
women.
Yes.
His closure of St. Adalbert's and his treatment of the parishioners of St. Adalbert's would not happen in an affluent neighborhood.
That's right.
It wouldn't.
I'll give you a perfect example. And I love this church, St. Teresa of Avila,
Yes.
which is progressive and beautiful, predominantly white. They defied the up to, I don't know, during the pandemic, but they've been able to fight consolidation.
Right.
And I was also part of a project. I sat in those meetings for, I don't even know how long. We had all these grant, the proposals, things, none of that happened. None of that. Because their intent is not to make this a more communal church. It's not about community. It's not about people. It's like you say, it's about making profit.
Profit.
And I remember, I read the Bible. When Jesus went to the temple and tore those tables up, it wasn't because he didn't want people to make money. It's because the church is not about silver and coin. This is about human beings.
It is.
And we definitely need to get back to that. Thank you. What was your name again?
My name is Judy Vasquez.
Judy Vasquez.
Yeah.
Beautiful to meet you. No hay de qué.
Yes, same here.
No hay de qué. Anybody else want to pop in before you go live? What up, brother? What's your name? A ver, un poco para acá, porque te hace mucho ruido. Un poquito más. Who are you representing, son?
I'm representing the community of Pilsen and St. Adalbert.
So I heard about your church was consolidated and closed. And what has it done to the youth?
Well, it's I think a big problem, a big issue that we're facing is that the youth does not care as much, and I feel like we need to show more representation of that.
Right.
And that's important because we need to show an example of many generations to come,
Of course.
And our goal is to show that we are stronger in numbers and that we can grow together and
Absolutely.
not have to divide against each other.
Absolutely. And I think this is unfortunately what these consolidations are doing. When they merge these churches and they bring these communities together, they're not taking questions of race, of class into these consolidations, right? So were you active in your church?
During high school, I used to go to this church once in every while. I went
Right.
On the Sundays, but for me, a personal anecdote that stood out
Sure.
to me was when I went to a Polish mass instead of a traditional Spanish mass over there. Because the important thing to understand is that this church was meant by Polish immigrants, but also as an anchor for Mexican immigrants.
Of course.
too. And I'm, as an Ecuadorian and Mexican, it's for all immigrants.
Right,
That's
right.
the important thing to understand. So I feel like we need to preserve this culture and preserve this church because it means to many people a significance. It means purpose to them. It means that together we are strong.
Of course.
Totally.
Totally.
That's the most essential thing.
Right, and it saddens me that this is such a divisive thing for profit, like we were talking earlier. What is your vision for a church? What would be your ideal vision for a church in a community?
That's a good question. My ideal vision for a church would be to have sustainable living for as a sanctuary.
Amen.
For homelessness.
Amen.
And
Amen.
People who don't have a home.
Yep.
And I feel like that's a goal that must be completed and should be able to be completed in the future. And to show that another goal I would say would be just to have that community again coming together, and to show that we need these churches to be preserved for life.
Right.
That's
And do you think that the closing of this church has actually made people leave the church?
It has, and it hasn't. I would say one reason would be because people have hope. That's the
Right.
important thing.
It should be that's part of Catholic Christianity, right?
Yes.
So if you could give the cardinal one message, what would it be?
My message would be to the cardinal is that we need you to be on our side. And I would like to a quote from the Bible saying, "Thou shalt not bear false witness
Amen, brother.
to your neighbor." In other words, fight the system, not your neighbor.
Here, brother. Thank you. What was your name again, son?
Diego.
Diego. Nice to meet you,
Barragán.
Diego. Nice to meet you. All right, brilliant. Thank you. You gotta knock it out, brother. Hey, you want to say hi to the viewers?
Good morning, buenos días.
With Byron doing the people's work all the time, 24/7. The people's candidate right here. None other like Byron. None other. You can take that to the bank, brother. All the time. We're gonna fight till we die. Hi, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you. Well, the fantastic Howard Ehrman. Howard, say hi to the viewers. How you doing, brother?
Viewers.
Hello. Hi, brothers.
Jesus Estrada is an active member of People's Response Network, and she's a real leader.
Ooh, a real leader. What? CCCTU.
Almost had a strike,
Almost.
and she's one of the reasons they got a good contract.
That's damn right. You preach that. Tell him. Hey, anytime, brother. Anytime. Whoa, I killed myself.
So, yeah, the idea is to put a focus on exposing.
Oh, bro, check it out. Socialist Alternative. Represent, brother. Are you with the press too, Mila? Awesome. What press are you with?
Oh no, I'm not with the press. I'm with the Mural Movement. My name is Delilah Martinez.
Nice to meet you. The what movement?
The Mural Movement. It's
Oh.
a nonprofit. We help underserved communities, but we're also at the front lines of any type of when people feel unnoticed. And
Fantastic. That's brilliant. Good to meet you. Thank you. Welcome to Radical Books and Activists. So we've got some press coverage over here from the real press. And who shows up always? Univision. Give it up for Univision. Always up. Univision. Thank you, Univision. You guys are the best. Right up. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't think you can see this, but the woman we interviewed earlier is praying the rosary right now. That shit moves me. I mean, I shouldn't call it shit, but that action, that hope, that praying, that's what it's about. I know I curse like a sailor, but I do have a devout heart, and I fight for the people like everybody else here.
Then Christopher, and then you finish. Okay. So, we're just waiting for the MC.
He never stops, dude. Never stops.
Mira, te relaciono porque es un nuevo compañero, es un reportero del canal.
Mm.
Va a estar con nosotros durante
Excelente. Bueno, sí, nos vemos con ustedes. Gracias, mucho gusto. Bueno, Juan, are you close or? Sure. Okay, so are you okay then? Yeah, third floor, and then just take Are you okay?
Should I step up? I think I should. Oh. I was gonna say, Byron, if you need a substitute, I can do it. I got a big mouth, as you know. My philosophy is you never pass up an opportunity at the mic, ever. How you feeling, brother? Yeah, you look good. I like that shirt on you. Did Lorene pick it out?
Yeah.
She's got a good taste, Joe. Lorene's Byron's a very beautiful. She's a beautiful soul. His wife was amazing. Thank you, comrade. What do we have here? The People's Response Network. Check it out. Check out these stats. I have to read this. This is a new one. The new one. Probably public health related. Want to speak to the viewers, brother?
I have to get the essay.
What's here, honey? Let me help you. There you go. You got it. You got it. You got this. You got this.
Fantastic.
Beautiful. You look great. So we're just waiting on the MC who's on his way. As you know, my big mouth volunteered to do it, but you know, it's cool. Yeah. It's not bad, not bad for a 9:30 a.m. thing.
Yes, yes. I think we're just waiting for them to see, so.
You know we got 10 o'clock here.
Yes, yes, yes. Yep. So,
Yo, you sure you don't want me to stop? I'd be happy to. Just show me the press release, brother.
yes. So,
Okay.
Let me see.
And then we can switch out.
Downstairs.
Órale, pues.
Coming in a minute. Just 1 minute. 1 minute.
You over to speed talk.
So I know you just see this anyway, but the whole connection about public jobs and expanding public, expanding,
What are you talking about, boy?
yeah, it's a really key issue.
For this right here?
Yeah.
It's not just about church closings? All right, got it.
No, it's about
You're doing all right, bro.
immigrants, huh?
You're doing okay.
Okay, what?
Pues lámpate la cara un poquito si quieres, te presto mi... Sí, andas un poquito sudado, bro.
Sudando porque estuve corriendo de la
Pues qué
pecera.
chingados te manda que andes corriendo.
Yeah, here. Here.
Andan en chinga, brother. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that out loud. Sorry. Welcome. Let's bring you in right, brother.
Yep.
Woo! Let's get this party started.
Good morning. My name is Juan Soto. I'm the Executive Director of Pilsen Neighbors City Council, and I also am the chair of the 25th Ward Stakeholders Table in the community of Pilsen. That includes Chinatown, the north side, in the southwest side, and now extending into Little Village. I'm concerned about what is happening with the humanitarian refugee crisis that has affected our community and our city and our state. I have been working tirelessly with other community-based organizations that look at a refuge place that we call Pilsen. Pilsen has all the amenities and is a welcoming community for all immigrants. Today, we are joined by community stakeholders that require and expand their services to these refugees. I'd like to introduce then, in this order, our speakers for today. First, I'd like to introduce Alderman Byron Sigcho-Lopez, the Alderman of the 25th Ward. Alderman?
Woo!
Thank you, Juan. Good morning, buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
For everyone who's here with us today, it is a really important day and important to tell the message of the story. I came to the US as an accompanied minor who did not speak English. Pilsen was the first place I came in the United States where I could speak Spanish again, where people in the community welcomed me like a brother. So that when it came time to find a home, I settled in Pilsen. Immigrants know better than anyone else how special communities like Pilsen and Little Village are. We don't have someplace else to go.
That's right.
I want to introduce you to the indigenous framework of Ila Edge. You are the other me. I don't harm you because I harm myself. Indigenous traditions are based on matriarchy. They respect the earth, they respect each other, they respect the mother because only she can harness the beauty of the cosmic universe and bring that earth into form of the human being with eyes as windows to the breathtaking cosmic soul. I'm speaking to you also as a father. On the whole planet, these communities are unique, precious, and worth saving from the wholesale dismantling by billionaires and out-of-touch mayors who collaborate with them. The mining industry working together with neo-colonialism. A generation later is what resulted in my arrival here alone as a miner. Communities like Pilsen and Little Village treat immigrants like myself, like human beings. That is so special about our community. That's why we become ports of entry. Our community see economic refugees, people fleeing pollution, people fleeing global climate change, institutional and colonial violence and oppression. People get displaced by this institutional and colonial violence. They come here and we don't want to get displaced again. This is a fight, and we will keep getting kicked out around this planet by the colonial status quo. We have the right to stay.
That's right.
About a month and a half ago, migrants arrived at the Gray County station in the 25th ward. Neighbors notified our office that people were dropped off, that children were dropped off in the cold with no jackets.
Come on now.
That's how inhumane was the situation.
Come on now.
In the press, we were assured that Chicago is a welcoming city. We are assured that our state is a welcoming state. But in the weeks that followed, many leaders that you see here with me continue to seek information on the care that these migrants and refugees are receiving. And we all face institutional barriers, obstruction, and even retaliation. 1 month later, after I personally received reports of distressed migrants themselves, I decided to see with my own eyes what was being left of the press releases. I was directed to a hotel in Harvey, Illinois, by migrants themselves, and I saw with my own eyes the inhumane conditions. 108 people, 60 of them are minors, which include a 4-month-old baby. My own triplets are 4.5 months old today. And those are the people that I think of when I go to bed at night. I did not visit a hotel. I visited a jail. These migrants are isolated. They're enduring food insecurity. And again, there's like over 60 children facing this in this one location. They're facing mistreatment, no less inhumane than what migrants are enduring at the border in the so-called red states. Other leaders will discuss what they are witnessing. I want to point out that in the community, our community is offering help.
That's right.
Not people running from aid. The people from our community. Not people who runs their own careers, but the people on the ground who are treating each other with humanity and respect. Today is a historic day, and I want to remind the public that Harold Washington didn't join the machine 40 years ago today. He fought the machine. He demonstrated courage to fight every single human being and for the fight for human life. He, in fact, opened the gates to our community to have access to critical resources and jobs. In Chicago, there are certain budgets that we pass, and the choice by our politicians to refuse to tax the rich and corporations have created warfare against the working people. The billionaires have both parties in the pockets, and the results is institutions with people at the head of them who do not regard us, documented and undocumented, as human beings. Dr. Maya Angelou said, when people show you who they are, believe in the first time. Our institutions are upheld by people. When our institutions turn their backs on us, when they are silent as we suffer violence, that is them showing us who they are as well, and we are well served to listen and believe them. In the community, we do care, and we demonstrate every day the care for our communities. The Archdiocese has about 100 empty churches. Parishioners have asked the Archdiocese to open the empty churches to fulfill the mission of service to the poor and most vulnerable, in the name of Jesus Christ.
Amen, brother.
Instead, they denied our request for even a meeting and sent armed police officers to arrest praying parishioners and community leaders who actually have presented a plan to address the migrant crisis, the humanitarian crisis. The community is bringing a pathway to peace and healing, while the leaders backed by billionaires bring weapons and violence to the problem of poverty and displacement. We also have non-profit institutions who get well-funded and pat themselves on the back for the immigration work without offering support that our migrants, refugees, and poor people across the city desperately need. What I witnessed are inhumane conditions are not unique to this site. There are over 3,700 people seeking refuge in Chicago area, and communities like Pilsen and Little Village are prepared to greet these migrants or civilians with the humanity humanity that we all deserve. These communities are special to immigrants like me, who came without a family to a country where they do not speak the language. That's what we fight. Immigrants recognize more clearly than anyone how special our communities are and how worthy they are for us to fight to protect them. It is not only to speak to the struggle of refugees that came together today. This mistreatment that is also reminiscent of the mistreatment that many other communities are also facing in the city. Is there anyone running for alderperson of the 53rd ward of the homeless residents?
Nope.
What promises can they hope to be fulfilled this election cycle? Our migrants or residents already here need housing in communities with robust wraparound services and public schools who have bilingual services. We need selling off housing land as we face a critical shortage. Still, generations of long broken promises to rebuild public housing.
That's right.
It is systemic. The people, the communities around us, are choosing not to look the other way. It's not an issue of money, the resources.
That's right.
The end of this institutional violence we need is to start by taxing the rich. The Chicago Department of Public Health will fail to uphold its mission if we don't find resources to fund and place the Department of Health funding. What we have seen is that the bipartisan system works for the rich and sells excuses to the poor.
Amen, brother.
Politicians, even politicians who make up immigrants communities like mine, and their relationships brands, they try to page the message that they care about immigrant communities. They care about their careers. They're not to be found when communities are suffering, when they have deplorable conditions, and there's more repression that includes children in dire conditions for humanitarian help. Listen to their actions and their choices, not their words. I will direct your attention to the recent news of the parent companies of Jewel and Mariano's joining to create monopolies while effectively more communities are starving. When you or I, the workers, go to Jewel or Mariano's to buy bread or formula to feed our children, we pay a sales tax. Yet, the recruiter or Albertsons pays sales tax when they brought out another conglomerate with enormous institutional and societal costs and all these externalities. They tax the workers, they never tax the rich.
Boo.
I'm calling on every worker to fight for the humanity and for the residents, or undocumented and documented residents. Scarcity is sold to us by the hoarders of our planet's abundance, the abundance of the fruit of our labor, not their labor. I want to commend the voters of Illinois, the workers organized, who passed the Workers' Rights Amendment on Tuesday.
Woo! Yeah!
In the 25th ward, we saw nearly 90% of support for the amendment.
Hell yes.
And that goes for every worker, documented or not, to be able to be protected. That's a mandate to finally put workers first. A call for politicians running for office to demonstrate with their actions that they put working people first. Their actions and not the Polish words is what matters.
Here, here, brother.
We're here to deliver a letter to Mayor Lightfoot demanding humane conditions in the city of Chicago for the migrants seeking refuge in our city and humane conditions for the residents already here. We also demand action for the governor, for the congressman, and for many other elected officials who've been silent and complicit on the issues that we have in our community. This is unacceptable, but more than anything else, this can be prevented and this can be changed. And that's what we're here with other leaders in our community to show that there are ways to address this crisis and humanitarian crisis. But doing nothing is not an option for our community and for our city. Debido al tiempo, parece que voy a tratar de hacer, si les parece, en español. Después vamos a tomar las preguntas y hacer las declaraciones en español. Y al final voy a hablar también en español para que también sé que la prensa tiene que salir. Entonces voy a dar la oportunidad a los otros speakers y después obviamente tomamos las preguntas en español.
That's Byron. Woo! Byron!
Thank you, Alderman. Pilsen is a welcoming community. Pilsen and Little Village have always been welcoming communities. For our next speaker, we're going to have Delilah Martinez, chair of the mural movement. Delilah?
Hi everyone, thank you all for taking the time to come listen to us. My name is Byron Martinez. I'm the founder of the Mural Movement. I also own a gallery called Wall Gallery in Pilsen. I'm here to just speak on my experience of helping the migrants as they arrive. It all started on August 28th. We are 75 days in now. We've been there every single day at the front lines of helping all the people with their immediate needs. This includes men, women, kids, disabled teens, pregnant women, newborns, all types of people. Some of the things that we have provided and noticed that they needed, and in the beginning when we started, it's myself, kid from Pilsen, and my other partner, Ricky Medina of Rapid Entertainment. We started to collect donations immediately. We just turned my gallery into a donation center overnight, and we thought that we would only need toiletries for the migrants, but we quickly realized it was a lot more than toiletries. As we saw them come in with no shoes, no socks, no coats, this includes the kids and the babies as well. So right away we got on our social media and started asking everybody to help send in donations. That includes shoes, socks, coats, cell phones for them to call back home. We were also getting doctor's appointments, kids' glasses, medicine, diapers, blankets, because we have multiple complaints that a Salvation Army that is very cold in there. We also help with haircuts, strollers, therapy, because a lot of them are very depressed, travel expenses, jobs, school supplies, because a lot of the kids are starting schools, and also CTA bus passes. So we just started with trying to give them the immediate needs, but as we began to create relationships with the people here and checking in on them because we gave them cell phones, we started to see what else they need. In the meantime, when we are there daily bringing them the needs of what they need immediately, those physical items, we started to experience bad encounters with Salvation Army employees. They were not very welcoming from the beginning. At first, we thought they weren't welcoming because they didn't know our work here in Chicago. We are always at the front lines of helping underserved communities, especially people that feel unheard, unnoticed. We're always there for them. So we thought maybe they weren't welcoming because they didn't know our work. But it continued where they weren't welcoming. They were very rude. The first incident started where there was a woman that came out to me and said, "I'm not scared of you. I'm telling you to leave. We don't want your donations here." And I said, look, you can clearly see that there's kids walking around with no shoes, no socks on, no coats, it's cold out. We are here with brand new items on behalf of the community, on behalf of the people that have been donating. We are here to give them that stuff and we're not going anywhere. She quickly realized that we weren't going anywhere and she left. On October 12th, we had another incident, and that was with a Salvation Army person that said he ran Salvation Army. And he came and he was yelling at us and telling us to get our shit out of there and get out of here. He came with the police. He was very aggressive. It was very scary. He was yelling at my partners, and we got it all on camera. And he tried to make the police tell us to leave, but the police were even confused. They were wondering why this man wanted us to leave when they saw us there daily giving the needs of the people. I mean, it's clear as day that you can see that they need shoes and socks. So the police were always very welcoming to us in that area. So we had that incident happen. Another incident is at the Holiday Inn in O'Hare Airport on October 28th. The Chicago Bulls invited myself, my team, and almost 40 of the migrants to a game. One of them was very late. She told us she was late because the cleaning crew at Holiday Inn moved her room without telling her, and in the meantime, while they moved her room, they also stole her money. Now, we know that we were helping this woman in particular because we helped her find a job. We were helping her find an apartment, and her boss gave her in advance $500 so she could get her apartment, and they took that. She said that she told Salvation Army social workers about this, and they said that they will do an investigation and that she needed to kind of keep quiet because they didn't want to get kicked out of the Holiday Inn at O'Hare. So I told her that I would handle this and help her out with that, and we have not heard that ever since. Another thing that I've been dealing with this the past week, and this one was a really hard one, is at the High Hostel Hotel at Ida B. Wells. We have two of the men, and These two men in particular, we've known for 75 days straight. These are the first group of men that we met when they arrived. Two of the men we found jobs for, and we were going to the High Hostel Hotel for them to get ready with the outfits we just got them for their first job. And they came down to us and told us that they were being kicked out. Now, the night before, they told us that early in the morning, they were abruptly woken up and the High Hostel Hotel did a search on the whole entire floor and went through everybody's stuff without telling them. So I asked them, why are we being kicked out? And they said, well, because one of us is being accused of having some marijuana, and the other one is being accused of looking like a drug dealer. So I was really hurt because we were on our way to take them to their first day at work. So I said, let me go in there and talk to the hotel manager, which name is Lou I. And he, right when I met him, I could just tell by the look in his face, he was very dry, very stale. He had no empathy and compassion in his eyes. And he said, they have marijuana, he looks like a drug dealer, they gotta go. And I said, well, what does a drug dealer look like to you? He said, the security guards found stuff on him, they gotta go. And I said, well, where are they going? He said, to Pacific Garden Mission on Canal. Right away, I started crying because we all know, if you know that shelter, it is not a safe space, especially for the most vulnerable people that had just arrived. Let's all keep in mind too that these migrants, we learned their story, they have walked 13 countries to get to the Texas border. In the meantime, they also walked through the Darien jungle, they also walked through the rivers, they also took that long distance train. So they're very fragile, vulnerable, and they've been through a lot. So for them to be going to the Pacific Garden Mission, it just really broke my heart. I tried to beg and plead with the hostel manager, and I said, can they please stay here one more night because they need to go to work, they cannot miss work. He said, they have to stay here. I will take them to Pacific Garden Mission and check them in. If they do not check in at this time, they will lose a bed. So I said, okay, I will call their bosses and let them know they're gonna miss their first day of work, just so that way they can have a bed. In the meantime, I talked to my partner, Ricky and Kid, and I was like, what can we do? Because we know we do not want them to go there. So as we were trying to figure it out, the guys had called me and said that they were dropped off in an Uber on the corner on Canal, and they didn't even know where to go, where the door was for Pacific Garden Mission. As I was directing them to the door on the phone, as they walked in, they said that there was nobody Spanish speaking there, and that they were so scared for their life that they'd rather sleep on the street. So I took it upon myself to turn my art gallery into an overnight shelter for these men. We went shopping that night to help them out. The next day, I called a meeting with the hostel manager. It took 2 days for me to get that meeting, and when I did, I went there. There was also some social workers from Salvation Army that were there, and the security guards that originally went through all their items. Now, the manager, he really didn't speak to me too much. He actually tried to ask me to leave. He said that we were no longer allowed on that property. I waited for the social workers because they seemed a little bit more welcoming. They also seemed to have had some type of relationship, knowing that these young men, it seemed as though they already believed the young men that they did not have any marijuana, and obviously they weren't drug dealers. So when the security guards came down, we had a talk with them in front of the social workers. And they were explaining that these guys are not allowed back in because the report states that they have marijuana and then one of them is a drug dealer. And the security guard said, we never reported anything like that. We never found any marijuana on them, nor do we say that they look like drug dealers. So the social workers quickly, we're all looking at each other and we're like, oh, okay, so this is a false report. The manager, Wise, is stating this, but this is not true. And the security guards say, yeah, don't put us in this. We did not find anything illegal on them. So I said, well, what are we gonna do about this? Because now they're on the streets, they need shelter. So they found another shelter because they realized they made a huge mistake. The reason why I'm upset that they were even displaced into another shelter is because these two men were with a group of other 7 men. They traveled together throughout those 13 countries. Now they are all separated, and also they are farther away from their jobs, in which now my team and I are responsible to get them there. We've been getting them Ubers. I've been driving them back and forth myself. It's been very stressful doing that. Besides that incident, there's another incident, and it's still at Salvation Army on Christiana. I found somebody else a job too, and For some reason, when we find them jobs, Salvation Army does not believe that they have a job, so they require the employer to have proof of employment, the hours of which they will work, which we provided. One of the males came in after hours because he worked till midnight, and when he arrived, the security guard named Sheldon Smith denied him of coming in. And I had to call up there and say, well, we have proof of employment, and when I did, he hung up on me. Finally, he let him in, but also he gave him a hard time for coming in, and the guy actually reported him giving him a hard time. The following day, Salvation Army created this rule that they can no longer take photos, video, or talk to me in particular about anything going on. The guy told him, look, if we do not take photos or video, who is going to make sure to hold you guys accountable to treat us right? We will not take any more photos or video if you guys just do your job and make sure to treat us right.
That's right.
So now they have a new rule that they can no longer talk to me about things like this. This is also a mental health issue. What we've learned is some of these families and males are now turning to drugs, in which we know that there's been 4 overdoses and 1 death so far in the past 75 days. Because they feel like they are prisoners, they feel they are not trusted, and they feel they're being mistreated. This is not just a race, religion, or political issue. This is a human issue, human decency issue. This has been very stressful on me and my team. We've been working for 75 days long on this, and I'm concerned with everybody else that does not know me or my team that they can reach out to when they're being mistreated. A lot of these migrants, they are accepting it because they are so worried about losing their spot at Salvation Army. So again, I just want us to remember that these people have already been through a lot, and we need to have more compassion and empathy for them. Thank you guys.
That's right.
Thank you, Delilah. Pilsen and Little Village are welcoming communities. The next one that's going to speak to this issue is Kit Guerrero. He's the Pilsen youth organizer. Kit?
Bring it home, kid.
Damas y caballeros de la prensa y del público, me gustaría tomar este tiempo para darles las gracias a todos por venir y ver esta conferencia de prensa. Quiero dejar algo muy claro aquí, empezando por el programa en la iglesia de Pilsen. Es bastante molesto escuchar que los superiores de la ciudad aprobaron un permiso dentro de las 3 semanas posteriores a las comunidades sin una reunión con la comunidad para discutir las posibilidades de lo que la iglesia puede llegar a hacer para ayudar a nuestra comunidad. En cambio, lo que hizo la ciudad fue aprobar un permiso para quitar la estatua de la iglesia, y la intención es vender la iglesia y venderla a los desarrolladores ricos. ¿Dónde está la participación de la comunidad en la ciudad con sus residentes? Podemos ver claramente dónde están las prioridades para que sus hijos mueran en las calles de la ciudad de Chicago. Y sé que hay muertos, y sé que hay múltiples maneras de ayudar a nuestros hijos y adultos jóvenes que esta misma iglesia puede ayudar. Programas de fotografía, ayuda para la salud mental, un espacio seguro donde los migrantes pueden buscar refugio, clases para miembros de la comunidad sobre cómo ser alfabetizados financieramente, tantas posibilidades. En cambio, los superiores piensan que saben lo que es mejor para nuestra comunidad. No, los miembros de la comunidad saben exactamente lo que necesitamos.
That's right.
Así que basta de los proyectos y reuniones justo antes de la hora de las elecciones. Comiencen a hacer su trabajo y a luchar por las necesidades de nuestras comunidades.
Woo!
En segundo lugar, que yo sepa, hay 60 niños en la Hotel Harvey, Illinois, y Dios sabe cuántos niños no están recibiendo ayuda en la ciudad y fuera de la ciudad. Ha pasado bastante tiempo en este lugar específico, en Harvey, Illinois, que no han tenido ninguna ayuda sostenible. He oído que los inmigrantes necesitan ayuda desesperadamente. ¿Dónde está la ayuda? Está claro que el gobierno de Texas lo está haciendo difícil para la ciudad de Chicago. No escuchamos actualizaciones sobre cuándo llegará la próxima ola de refugiados, debido a la falta de la comunidad que tiene el gobernador de Texas. No le importa, pero a nosotros sí. Entendemos nuestras historias, conocemos a alguien o somos alguien que ha pasado por algo, por lo que han pasado los migrantes. A la ciudad y su propuesta de presupuestaria, yo le pido que dejará invertir la mayoría de fondos a una institución racialmente agregada y comenzar a poner el dinero en nuestras comunidades que necesitamos desesperadamente para que podamos hacer un mejor trabajo ayudando a todos. Dame la oportunidad de demostrar que los miembros de la comunidad pueden hacerlo mejor. Ya habíamos demostrado una vez, podemos hacerlo de nuevo. También exijo que la ciudad deje de hacer falsas promesas a las organizaciones de base y diga que la ayuda está en camino y no aparezca después. Nos dice que esperamos, pero no podemos esperar. La acción tiene que suceder ahorita. El tercer ejército del día de salvación recientemente un contrato a los antiguos migrantes y están limitados que los inmigrantes pueden hacer y especialmente a la comunidad que están tratando de ayudarlos. ¿Qué está haciendo el ejército de salvación? ¿Por qué dicen que son escudos de esperanza cuando tratan a los refugiados como almas gemeladas? Or so to say, like prisoners. Están tratando de ocultar el hecho de que no pueden proporcionar nada para los refugios, ni siquiera un par de zapatos a la semana que llegaron a los inmigrantes. ¿Por qué están enviando camiones de ropa fuera de la ciudad cuando claramente los necesitamos aquí? Prefieren vender la ropa con fines de lucro en lugar de proporcionarlas a los migrantes y esperan que donemos y se encargan de ellos. Cuando ha visto primera mano que ni siquiera pueden proporcionar un par de zapatos a una niña pequeña. Esas injusticias han ido demasiado lejos y necesitamos acción y respuestas. And for English, that's artificial.
Pilsen and Little Village communities are welcoming communities. The next one, speaker that we have is Ms. Judy Velasquez from the St. Adalbert's Rosary Group. Judy?
Woo, woo, Judy.
I'd like to thank Juan for moderating this morning. I'd also like to give a heart welcome and actually thank you to our alderman. Without him, we would not be here today. Without him, we would not have the property of St. Adalbert's. They closed, the archdiocese closed. I'm honored to be here. Thank you very much for everyone to come and everyone who's live on Facebook listening to this press conference. 40 years ago, the late Harold Washington showed the courage to challenge the political machine.
That's right.
We all knew who the political machine is and was at the given time. He did not join them because he was a kind, righteous, strong leader who cared about the people and who stood his ground for what he believed was right. I am a lifelong Pilsen resident and also a Catholic. As a community leader, I am praying, asking, demanding that our churches return to their roots of caring for the people of God.
That's right.
As a member of the St. Adalbert's Spanish-Polish Rosary Group, we have been calling on the Archdiocese to do what it was created to do, to be compassionate and to serve the people of God created in His image. Cardinal Supage and the Archdiocese of Chicago have chosen instead to be deaf and blind when it comes to the people. They have decided to close parishes and turn their backs on the people of God who live in Latino and poor communities, because to the Cardinal, it is profit over people.
That's right.
For some reason, Cardinal Suvich has forgotten that the gospel and the Catholic Church calls on him to serve the poor, welcome the strangers, care for the sick and the elderly. Instead, it has been easier for the Cardinal to host churches in every ward in the city of Chicago. Churches built by our poor immigrant ancestors, and now these church properties are being sold for millions in profit. All the money going to the archdiocese.
Oh.
Where is that money? That's one of the basic questions we want to know. Where's the money? Why isn't this money being put back into the communities that these properties are being sold?
Here, here.
Every leader in the ward in Chicago is aware of how this cardinal is quietly destroying entire neighborhoods, mostly poor, mostly people of color and poor, with these churches closing and selling them to developers. The fabric of the communities in Chicago is changing rapidly and quietly by the sale of the churches and these properties. Why isn't the money going back into the communities? So this morning, faith leaders are demanding the repurposing of churches and schools, not turning them into luxurious places for profit. They were built to serve the people. These magnificent churches, as is in the Delbers, you are familiar with it. It is spectacular. The murals and the windows, fantastic, beautiful. Churches are being sold. The cardinal is turning his back on people, deaf, blind, and living in a glass house.
Amen, sister.
Sad. Kennedy, horrible. But they can't serve, all these churches can't survive the cardinal sewage and the greed and the archdiocese, the lack of vision and the mission that they were created for. They could not survive the financial, they cannot survive the financial crisis of the clergies that are being accused of the scandals that they're being accused of and the lawsuits that are being filed to protect them and not God's people.
That's right.
Not us. Oh, something seriously, majorly wrong with what's happening here. I really like to commend kids for what he said in Spanish. It is what's happening so frequently that kids are on the streets being killed while the cardinal's turning a blind eye. Sad. And as we go into this Thanksgiving holiday season, wishing one another good thoughts filled with generosity and abundance in a warm house filled with family and friends, let's take a moment to reflect on how it feels for all these families who have come here to live the dream of sharing of what it means in this country, of welcoming them. The stories we hear this morning are horrendous, how they're being treated, held without services, children no shoes, no food. They're coming here to have a dream, to live the dream that we all have, that we were born in this country. We have this dream. Let them come. Let's welcome them. Let's open our arms. Let's open these churches, schools, so we could repurpose them for social services, to them and to everybody else, the elders, the young, our own kids, so we'll have a place to be. Seeking to share our faith and humanity and love and respect for one another is a possibility, and it's still alive, finding shelters and living the American dream. That's what we're talking about here today. We call on Carlos Supich to stop ignoring the people. He is called to serve, to hear our prayers, to behave like a pastor that Pope Francis appointed him to be, to walk with the poor. I'm going to repeat myself, Carlos Supich, walk with us, walk with the poor. I lost my place, but I'm going to find it, okay? Accompanying the people of God, Carlos Supich, to be the pastor that the Holy Spirit called him to be, that includes supporting us, guiding, accompanying the people of God, especially the poor, the immigrants that we've welcomed to this country. Open your heart. What I also we ask the Cardinal and the Archdiocese, what would Jesus do in these times? Okay? Who would he be walking with these days? Jesus spent time with the people, and he was the Son of God. He never hid even from danger. So I ask once again, Cardinal Supich, what would Jesus do? First and foremost, reopen our churches. That's what we're asking the Cardinal to do. Our schools, welcome the poor and the refugees, work with community organizations and our ward aldermen and women to obtain resources and funding to provide the services, update the properties, to receive people and to serve them. These are God's people. They are one who we can fill. They are ones who can fill all these empty churches. Repurpose closed Catholic schools to serve families, especially our children that, as I said, are killing one another. All as churches, we all show, we're asking for human dignity here. That's all we're asking for, okay? Keep praying. We need more prayer. We need more vision, positive vision. I'd also like to thank everybody for being here. May God bless us and keep us safe. I'd also like to have my partner, also who belongs to the Spanish Rosary Group. He'd want to talk a few words about what it means to him to be an immigrant here in the U.S. and then have the churches being closed. I'd also like to give a brief update. The Archdiocese did in fact give their permit to come to St. Douglas to move the Piazza. It's going to happen very soon. We were there. We're going to be there the day that the Archdiocese and Supich sends its people to come to take the Piazza to another church to listen. We want a meeting with you, Carlos Supich. We'd like to sit down with you to dream the dream. But once again, we all are working hand in hand, going into this future of this world with you, Carlos Supich. We ask for a meeting with you. We would love to harmoniously rejoice as the coming of Jesus for that day that would be a grand present, that you would sit down, talk to your community. We would love it. May you have a good day, Carlos Supich. God bless you. Andy, I'm just waiting. Come on. You say a few words. This is my friend, Andy Boba.
I just want to say to everyone, Polish people, this church was built by the Polacks, 100 years ago, and it's a big Polish heritage for us and for the Spanish people. And we want this church to be reopened because this church was built by the people, for the people of Chicago.
Hear, hear, brother. Preach that truth. Woo!
Thank you. Pilsen and Little Village are welcoming communities. The next speaker is Chris Haskell, UIC student and member of the Socialist Alternative.
Woo! Represent UIC.
Good morning. My name is Christopher Haskell. I'm a student at UIC and a member of Socialist Alternative. In conversation after conversation with students on campus, it's quickly becoming clear that young people want an alternative to the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party has no interest in passing policies that actually benefit working class people. And it's becoming obvious to more and more people, especially young people, that the politicians in both parties are only interested in helping the rich get richer.
That's right.
The young people that registered as Democrats over the past few months and then came out on Tuesday in high numbers, they were casting a defensive vote. They were not and are not attracted to the program of the Democratic Party.
What program?
And we refuse to be held hostage by the Democratic Party. Young people are looking for a bold alternative and a new way forward. A way forward that actually addresses the climate crisis because we want a livable planet to grow up on. A way forward to free themselves from the burden of college debt in the face of Biden's broken promise.
Here, here, brother.
Total student debt cancellation. And a way forward to living wage union jobs. A way forward to affordable housing in the face of record skyrocketing rents. As a tipped worker in the restaurant industry, the big story from Tuesday's midterms was not which establishment party would control which house of Congress, but that voters in the deep red state of Nebraska passed a minimum wage law via referendum. The Democratic Party and Joe Biden won't push for $15 an hour, so the so-called conservative voters in Nebraska did it themselves. Young people and workers everywhere in red or blue states want an alternative to the Democratic Party. I want nothing to do with the Democratic Party, with billionaire-funded gubernatorial campaigns or the continuing austerity under Lori Lightfoot.
Here, here.
We need an independent, working-class alternative to the Democratic Party. And that's why I support Byron Sigcho-Lopez in his campaign for re-election in the 25th Ward.
That's right.
Byron is running as an independent socialist, which is a bold and necessary step to take on the corporate duopoly and break from the Democratic Party for good. Byron's campaign and a campaign of bold demands are what will bring disillusioned young people and students into the fight. Young people are rapidly moving towards socialism as more of us suffer under capitalism and realize that bold action is needed to take on the entire system. Bold action like taxing Amazon. Byron is making tax Amazon a key plank in his re-election campaign. And this is the type of bold campaign that young people are looking for. To tax the top corporations as a sustainable revenue stream. To fund the building of social housing, permanently affordable housing built by union labor.
Here, here.
To restore and fund mental health services in the city of Chicago. To fund proven violence prevention programs. And to fund and guarantee a nurse and librarian in every public school, which, by the way, it is a disgrace that we don't provide that already.
That's right.
This Amazon tax, finally taxing the ultra-wealthy corporations here in Chicago, is the key to funding social services and starting to look toward a different system than the one that we live under today. This campaign will be modeled after the successful campaign to tax Amazon in Seattle, where Socialist Council member Shama Sawant and Socialist Alternative built and led a campaign of working-class people and youth in Seattle to put pressure on the corporate Democrats on Seattle City Council. The tax passed, and over $240 million a year is now ticketed for the creation of social housing in Seattle. And we will build a movement just like that here in Chicago, and we will win hundreds of millions of dollars for social services. I encourage everyone viewing this press conference to get involved in the campaign to tax Amazon and the top corporations here in Chicago.
Here, here, brother. Preach that truth.
Pilsen and Little Village are welcoming communities. Our next speaker here is Dr. Howard Ehrman, former Assistant Public Health Commissioner under Mayor Harold Washington. Doctor?
All right, Howard.
Thank you very much, Juan, and thank you to Byron, to all of our brothers and sisters here. I'm here representing the People's Response Network, and in particular, Dr. Barbara Norman, who Mayor Washington appointed the Deputy Health Commissioner in 1984, and Annette Sims, who is our chair and is the co-founder of Black Women Organizing Chicago. Mayor Washington made his priorities very clear to the people of Chicago when he announced 40 years ago today that he was running for mayor. His priorities were to use billions of dollars in public funds for those who most needed in the public. His priorities were to create thousands of new public jobs that were union jobs that paid beyond the minimum wage and had full benefits for, in particular, African Americans and Latinos who had been cut out, held out, fired from previous administrations. His priorities was to use public money for the public, not to privatize it and to use it to increase profits, as Mayor Richard M. Daley, Rob Emanuel, and Mayor Lightfoot have done over and over again. I am the grandson of an Egyptian Moroccan enslaved person from Romania, who at the age of 20, after being enslaved for 14 years, escaped and walked 1,500 miles, often barefoot, from Romania to Hamburg to get on a ship to come here. I am the great-grandson of Bohemian immigrants who landed at 18th and Halsted 150 years ago this year, who were escaping a system of feudalism from the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Like everybody else here, who either was brought to this country forcefully or who came here because they were fleeing, we have to talk about what to do now. What we're going to do now is we're going to work together to reopen every closed public school, every church, for both immigrants who are fleeing, in particular, the U.S. imperialist blockade of Cuba and Venezuela, and who are coming here because of other U.S. and other imperialist countries ravaging their countries, pushing off the land for resources, etc., etc. That includes closed schools in Pilsen. That includes underutilized schools, of which Pilsen and Little Village have the most in the city of Chicago. That includes the Arturo Velázquez Center, which is part of the Chicago Community Colleges. It is the most underutilized Chicago Community College facility in the city that has plenty of empty space to house and feed refugees.
That's right.
That's what we're going to do, and we're going to do it together. We are here to demand, very specifically, a meeting with the governor of the state, J.B. Pritzker, with Cook County Board President Prickwiggle, and with the mayor of the city of Chicago, Mayor Lightfoot.
Yeah, good luck.
A meeting in which they are going to commit public resources, including emergency resources from conversations they need to have with President Joe Biden and with DHHS Secretary Becerra, who actually himself is the son of immigrants from Mexico. These are emergency funds that have to be used right now to save people's lives, to help people emotionally and physically, as the previous speakers have said. Finally, I want to talk about a long-term solution. In March of last year, 25th Ward Alderman Byron Sigcho-Lopez introduced an ordinance called Take the Vaccine to the People.
Here, here.
A similar ordinance is now going to be introduced once we have gathered more strength, and we hope everybody here becomes part of this. And it's very simple. The basis of public health is to go out to the people, where we live, where we work, where we go to school, where we play, and where we pray.
That's right.
It is not to force people to register online, to go to a private institution like CVS and Walgreens, who have made billions and billions of dollars off of our hard-paid taxes. So this is a new ordinance. We hope that everybody here can support it, and it's the only way forward for immigrants, refugees, and everybody else who needs these services in Chicago.
What's the name of the ordinance, Howard? Hey, name of the ordinance.
The name of the ordinance is Rebuild the Chicago Department of Public Health.
Here, here. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard.
Woo!
Thank you. And we do have a letter that we're going to be delivering to Mayor Lightfoot, as well as the plan that Dr. Howard mentioned. We have a plan in the 25th Ward, and we need answers. We need a plan. So now we're going to, if there's anybody who has any questions.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about, you mentioned you went to Harvey, Illinois, and you saw you were saying that it felt more like a jail and just, yeah, like why you, when you were there and what you saw that made you come to that conclusion?
Absolutely. So we, as I said, we had 39 people who were dropped off from El Paso, Texas, in a bus to Chicago, and they were dropped off in our ward close to the Greyhound station. That was the first contact that we made with the migrants and refugees. We got calls from neighbors nearby who saw children who were walking, and again, the weather in El Paso, Texas is very different to Chicago. There were children without jackets, there were people literally without shoes in the middle of the cold. This was a few months ago. We stay in touch, we don't play lip service. We wanted to make sure that we connect and we see how they are being received in, again, a sanctuary city like Chicago, a state, a local state like the state of Illinois. We stayed in touch with them, and shortly after that, about a week later, they were transferred, they were sent to Harvey, Illinois, in a hotel. We stayed in touch with many of the refugees that were part of this group of 39 people. They were joined by a group of approximately, there's a total of 108 people in this particular location. At least 60 of them are migrants. As I said, I personally saw, well, now we've been formal.
Jesus Christ.
The conditions are deplorable. They only have received since then, and this is at least a month since being in this location, they have only received one health screening that was done in the Salvation Army. There has not been any evaluation in terms of the mental health and other health conditions. They also have been asking for weeks now to be able to go and enroll kids in schools. They still have not been able, and they're desperately asking the state. Now the state has taken full custody of these refugees. They have also said that they are completely isolated from any kind of institution. They have a nearby church that has done everything they can on their own without any support from the state to try to alleviate even basic things like laundry and other basic things. There are children, I'm not talking about adults, children and adults who don't have, to this day, still jackets.
Jesus fucking H.
People
Christ.
go outside. That's what I mentioned, these are jail conditions. The kids, again, we talk about 60 minors, cannot even go into the hallways anymore because there's just overcrowding, there's concerns about mental health issues, there's smoking, there's just conditions that are not adequate for minors, especially 60 minors that are there. There are also concerns about, as I said, that the children have been for way too long without any kind of playgrounds, without any kind of activities, and they're asking desperately to find them a school for the children. In fact, when I spoke with them yesterday, the parents said, look, it's not even about us, please help the children. I don't think that anyone deserves that. I think that we have the resources. We have a plan in the 25th ward where we have already offered mental health services, we have community clinics, we have a food pantry, we have a location in the ward to repurpose a school and or a church so that our immigrant communities and refugees can have a humane conditions. I think that kids that are not able to even go into the hallways and being reprimanded by state authorities. The other thing that I'm concerned, we have received information that nonprofits are supposed to be on site. To this day, we haven't got any updates, no changes, and again, these families are still in this location. These are not shelters, these are jails.
And the location that you speak of in the 25th ward, that's the church.
So we have two options. Yeah, so the church is one of them. We have Holy Trinity, we have an empty church that now became a food pantry. They're serving right now over 2,500 people a month. We also have Providence of God. There are other churches that perhaps can be repurposed, and we have the community building, the whole community building next to Pilsen Elementary. This is in close proximity. This is in close proximity to a pantry, to a school that have bilingual services like Pilsen Elementary. It's also close to a labor medical center, a police wellness center, where they can receive the screening and mental health that they need. The question to me at this point, after, as we said, people who have been working directly on this, we have galleries that have been repurposed now, we have food pantries. 75 days later, why we still don't have an answer from the state, the city, the county, or the federal government on why we cannot have a plan We already have a local plan, and that's what we're going to be demanding in the letter.
Criminal.
To implement the plan and to have a plan citywide and statewide. We have enough of these political parties who always claim that they are supporting the immigrant community. They use us as pawns, and that's why we are rejecting that. And we're rejecting this bipartisan system that is neglecting and criminalizing, as we heard, and dehumanizing our communities. This is the time for change, and this is the time to implement a plan. We have a plan, and we're waiting for the state, the city, and the county to have one as well.
Have you heard if the people specifically in Byron, have they gotten any kind of help with legal cases and also with like figuring out how to get a job?
They haven't got any help. Absolutely. So they haven't got any help, as I said here. Our community has been opening, extending their arms to help, to locate it with a job. I think, as you know, our community is a port of entry. We'll continue to fight to make sure that we have a port of entry for migrants and refugees. But my understanding has not been any attempt to place them in the job. We also concerned about the school of the children. Over a month, the children are in really deteriorating conditions. The mental health of the children is a serious concern that we have, as well as the other people. And again, this is one location. There's over 3,700 people in the city, and the numbers are growing. The projection is that the city of Chicago could potentially receive between 10 to 15,000 refugees. We already have over 60,000 people who are right now in need of shelter homes in the city of Chicago. So where is the plan? Where are the funding?
That's right.
Because what we see is unacceptable. Not only the lack of any kind of job opportunity, but the other thing, like you said, the legal support that they claim to have has been inadequate for what we hear directly from the refugees. The work that is done through nonprofits is inadequate. We need to have public accountability, and that's why we have this amendment, so that we can fully fund departments that can receive and can fund proper services. This is unacceptable because the funds are there. What we don't have is a plan, and we're going to be demanding that from the state, county, and the city.
Byron, I have a follow-up question. And well, actually, I also have a question for the sister there. So let's say practically, how do they vet these employers? Let's say I wanted to hire someone. I'm a full-time person, and I would like to get some assistance in the house or something. Would that be possible, or does it have to be? Or what are the qualifications?
Well, in a sanctuary city, right? We believe that one of the first things that many of these residents have is an ID, right? Sometimes there's been the biggest barrier that they have to access any kind of resources. We have a municipal ID, but that municipal ID doesn't work in the suburbs. So they're completely isolated without any ability to enter any kind of opportunity. That's why we're asking that refugees and migrants that they need to come to areas closer to the city. When we have the infrastructure, when we have workforce development programs, we have IDs. We also reach out to the Secretary of State, Jesse White, to make sure that we have Singapore and Philippines going to be working on that on the TVL, so that they can have an ID that is worked across the state. As you know, the city of Chicago doesn't have a consulate as well for many migrants who are from Venezuela. So we want to make sure that they get proper assistance. We can't do it here in the state. What we have is the lack of willingness, political willingness.
Oh, of course. Thank you. Oh, sorry.
So how will provisions of this ordinance strengthen correlate to improving conditions for migrants in shelters?
So one of the concerns that we have is unfortunately the budget. As you see, this is a state and city. A lot of the funding is going to profit organizations. A lot of money is going to institutions that have no accountability. We just passed a $16 billion budget. The only item that we saw was a $5 million allocation for this issue. That's inadequate. We also have deep funding that uses all sorts of ways, including to subsidize developers. But we don't see the kind of support to repurpose empty churches. We have a plan, in fact, to repurpose the Trinities and other empty churches so that people can have shelter. But to have that, we need to have the proper planning around this, and we need to have a Chicago Department of Public Health that can respond with epidemiologists, with the proper resources to have the oversight. We cannot have funding out there. We have information about the profits going to the site of Harvard, Illinois, yet we don't know exactly what kind of work they've done, because what we hear from the refugees is that they have never reached them. And this is, again, at least among one location, we have 3,700 people. But I don't know, Howard, you want to add to this particular question? Thank you.
So thank you all for your questions. I'd like to give a historic precedent here in the city, and I'm now calling on AFSCME, SEIU, and all of the labor unions to join with us. In 1980, because of the U.S. imperialist blockade of Cuba, 125,000 refugees, who were mostly black Afro-Cubans, came to the United States, called Marielitos. That included several thousand who came to Chicago. All the existing Cuban social humanitarian services that were run primarily by white Gusanos rejected any aid whatsoever to these Cuban refugees. We organized, we meaning primarily the workers in the Chicago Department of Public Health and every other part of the city, who at that point were organized and asked me to represent the city workers. We were joined by Reverend Jesse Jackson, many African American as well as some Latino organizations, who basically forced the city, the state, and the federal government to not just provide the kind of services that Byron and everybody else has been talking about, but to actually hire more public workers in the Department of Health, in the Department of Human Services, and other departments. That's exactly what we're calling on right now. This is a global emergency. This is the end of the fourth day of the largest conference in the world on climate change, when the majority now of migration is going to be because of climate change and the intersection with wars, famine, etc. So that's what the governor has to do. He has to pick up the phone right now and call the president, who's crowing about the great victory in the elections 2 days ago.
Sure
He
is.
has to pick up the phone and call DHHS Secretary Becerra and ask for emergency funding along with Tony Preckwinkle and Mayor Lightfoot.
Here, here, brother.
And then we're gonna deliver the letter before we can as a group. We're gonna deliver it.
One last point I'd like to make is if there's any sign-on, the Spanish Polish Rosary Group, it's St. Adelbers, we'd like to sign on.
Right here, sister.
Yes. Also, we want our churches reopened.
All right, me too. Yeah. Put that shit on YouTube. Thank you for your hard work, Alderman. As ever.
All you wanna.
I'm gonna vomit in that mask. You watch. Hope you brought some holy water there. A ver si le hace efecto. ¿Habla español? Sí. Pásame que otra agua bendita para echar a la alcaldesa. Que se le saque el pinche demonio.
Sí.
Si quiero ir, fíjese. I'm sorry, I'll tell you. I'll give you my number. I'd love to go.
Okay, sweet.
¿Te vas, kid? Thank you, man. You're awesome. Hey, let's stay in touch because I love to help out. I've been trying to move to Pilsen, but rents are fucking rich. Sorry, Jesus. Sorry. We'll talk about that later.
Before we leave, I'd like to make one last point that I started to make.
Listen up, brothers.
Thank you. The Rosary Group of St. Adelbers, the Spanish-Polish Rosary Group, would like to sign on to whatever we're signing on for the immigrants to be welcomed here. We want our churches reopened. We want St. Adelbers to be reopened so we can, as a faithful community of the Archdiocese of the Catholic religion, want Mass. We want the place to be open and welcoming for everyone. Thank you very much.
All right.
Carlos Subich, please join us. Have a happy Thanksgiving and give us the gift of a community coming together. Thank you very much, Carlos Subich.
All right. Can I come? Yes. Woo, I'm part of the rabble rousers. Yeah, let's do this.
Oh, yeah, sorry. You wanna sign on the letter?
It's very possible that I'm gonna vomit in my mouth.
Yeah, you put it on the podium so we can.
Órale, here we go. Moment of truth, brothers and sisters, and non-binary friends.
No, I have.
By the way, that was brilliant. I learned a lot from watching you. That was brilliant. I'm serious. Hey, yeah, you say what I had to say, brother. I loved it. I loved it. Hell to the yes. I totally endorse this. Nah, dude, this is why I picked out that beautiful shirt. It's dope. Can I say it too? Yes! It's third number 8. Thank you, brother. I really love what you had to say too. I can as a chapter chair. Be happy to.
Seriously.
I am.
I loved it.
I mean, oof. Can I do this? Yo, hold the phone for me, kid. We love. Thank you, baby. It's still streaming. Gracias, hijo. Appreciate you. All right. See, I put CPS mom, bro. CPS mom. You see that?
All right.
Fist bump me, bro.
Oh, sorry.
Y te lava las manos.
So you should take one with all the signatures too.
Órale.
Picture.
Yeah. ¿Ya la filmaste?
Ya.
Alabado sea Dios. They put a little love letter to Cardinal Soupage on there.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh. Antes de que se vaya, me da su teléfono. Ay, qué chulada. Ándale, mijo.
¿Cómo estás? Oh, you got it? Okay, cool.
Everybody should sign.
Okay.
Whew, that was a lot of work, dude. Holding the phone for like 2 hours almost. Yikes.
Yeah, that actually was.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
No, all the time.
Interesting.
Nothing can summon me like Byron doing a press conference or somebody being stupid Byron. Boom, right there in an instant. Right, Byron?
Let's go. Keep going.
We're not walking, right? Because I'm like out of breath.
Oh, we can walk if you want.
Charlie, wait, no, elevator.
Elevator.
No, dude, sorry, bro. I'm tired. Hey, at some point I'd love to have you on my show. I want to learn more about socialism in general.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I mean, I'm a communist, I'm alive, but I've come to the realization as a Jed, I mean, it's got to be socialism. It's got to be first. It has to be. You know?
What's your show?
Radical Books and Activists. It's small. I'm kind of bringing it back. I have a podcast too that I'm trying to revive because we just finished. I don't want to overly brag, but I was in the negotiation team for the faculty, and we were negotiating for over a year against, corrupt city and all that bullshit. But we finally ratified a contract. The contracts don't have to be. I don't want to overly brag. It's a damn amazing contract,
That's good.
as it should be for every unit. Ándale, cabemos todos, que nos bañamos, vénganse. I'm still streaming, y'all. I'm gonna totally capture this moment. ¿Tienes el teléfono de esa señora? ¿Qué? Es tu colega. Me lo pasas después.
Sí. I got his name in there.
Damn, I'm tired. Sorry, she didn't say hello. Sorry, viewers. I left on my gear home. I don't know what I was thinking.
Work with Gail Walker.
Right.
Are the people still staying at your gallery?
Yeah.
I know they're at another shelter now.
Yeah,
That's not even.
Pues qué mamadas. How can these people call themselves Salvation Army people and treat people like pieces of garbage? No, chale, wey.
Now they literally made them sign a document.
You know what? I shit you not. I am never gonna go to Salvation Army ever fucking again unless they change their ways.
They would have shoes and clothes and socks for them.
Que la chingadera, puta madre. That shit made me cry. you know?
And they still have no shoes and socks.
Fuck those guys. We're trying to kill them with fucking pneumonia. She don't like you, Byron.
You still have to follow group procedure. Yes. Yes.
Is there any policy or is it written out someplace?
Yes. Believe it or not, we don't just.
Right, I know it's not written, but I don't know about the policy.
They would have to ask the law.
But there was no, I've done several letters, I was just wrong.
No, I guess.
Okay, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Fuck is that? It's bullshit.
It's another distance from the back to try and
Yeah.
every barricade you can.
Gotta get some damn
Fourth floor.
fourth floor where they're gonna tell her to go back up. Watch. It's gonna be a fucking comedy.
It's like you can just see out Walter.
Yeah, John.
Just John, keep
Good old John. He's retiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That security guy right there. You.
17 or whatever.
Kid, you doing all right?
Because,
You live in this democratic institution we live under?
And I don't see it like that. But they're doing
This fucking capitalist system. Fuck that. It's some bullshit, man.
Yeah.
Do they think they might need some books to read? Maybe the kids, stuff like that.
We've been definitely bringing them books. They like books. We've even brought them toys. This is like only at the few shelters I've been in.
Right, right. I have a charity press, and I give books away all the time. Because we have children's books.
Hi, how are you? Yeah, this is our mother, Sigcho-Lopez. I have a letter from Mayor Life. They tell us that we have to drop it off here. This is about the situation with the.
I think it's probably down the hall that you need to go. Yeah, it is down the hall.
Down the hall?
Yeah.
Is there a specific person or?
This is not the right department.
What is the department?
This is the mayor's office is right down the hall. What's the department? We're the law.
They sent us here. They told us to go to
The
legal.
policeman just told us to
He
get-
said that was a policy.
Downstairs.
No, this one.
The right? No, it's to the right.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
This is the mayor's office.
Hey, you guys are going on a pilgrimage, right? Let's see when we can get to the higher ground or whatever, promised land. Jesus, Mary. So we've been to 2 places. Now we're getting sent to another. Apparently, nobody has their policies around here.
Oh, because they invent policies. They're gonna
Shit,
use-
you tell me I work for the state colleges. I know how they invent
They're
policies.
gonna invent policies on the spot.
Bet you $5 they're gonna send them back upstairs.
Oh, it's funny.
No, Silas. No, nobody's there, dude. They're out to lunch. What the shit? Are you kidding me?
Be right back. Thank you.
Oh my God. Oh, here's the woman of the hour. Who does not give a damn about black and brown people. Terrible.
The line, I think